Yo, what's good, everybody? And it is YBR Sports here with my first video, and I will be doing my top 10 NFL draft prospects for 2020 draft class. And with the first player in the draft, I have Chase Young out of Ohio State, playing the defensive end. I mean, he's a monster. He's just doing things that you don't normally see out of anyone below the NFL. He very possibly could be like the next Davion Clowney in college-wise. You know, he's a monster, and I think he's the best player in this draft. And at the number 2, I have Jerry Jeudy, who is the best wide receiver prospect since Julio Jones. I think that if he continues to do what he's doing, he will be the number 1 receiver taken off the board. And if not, there's only one other person I think that could be that player. But he is a very talented wide receiver, and he's very athletic. He's just got to keep putting up numbers like he's doing now, and he'll be just fine. Next, I have Joe Burrow at number 3, the quarterback from LSU. After the year he's had this year, much more improved from over last year. He's played really good, beating that Bama team, which, it didn't surprise me, but it surprised a lot of players, a lot of people, He's going to shock the world going to the NFL, and he will probably be, in my opinion, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft from the Bengals. And at the number 4 spot, I have Justin Herbert from Oregon. He's a really good quarterback. He's not the most athletic guy. And when his feet are set, he's probably the best passer in this class. He can make just about any throw on the field that you want him to make if his feet are set. If not, when he's rolling out the pocket trying to throw on the run. He's not the best guy, but if he rolls out the pocket and he can get his feet set, he can make just about any throw. Doesn't matter if it's across the field. It doesn't really matter. His arm is probably the best in this class when his feet are set. Grant Pitt coming at number 5. He's a really good safety. He's the number 1 in the draft. And I personally believe that he is probably top 3 in the past 10 years. Grant Pitt, he is a really good safety prospect for his capabilities to read the quarterback's eyes, know where he's going to try to put the ball. He also has a willingness about him to come up and make a tackle if someone's free with the ball. I personally think he's also one of the best athletically in this draft class as well, and that can make the biggest difference sometimes. I have Tua Tagovailoa at the number 6 prospect on my draft board because of the fact of his injuries, and I also think that the wide receiver core he has helps him out just a little bit, and that might give him a slight edge over other quarterbacks and players, so I dropped him down a little bit, but his capability to make certain throws is really good, and he can make it on the run and, sitting in the pocket, but he can run if he has to as well. And Andrew Thomas, my number 7 prospect, my number 1 offensive line, who's the best run blocker in this draft class, possibly the best in the nation. I don't really know what to say about his pass blocking because you don't get to see much of that with him being at Georgia, and Georgia loves the ground and pound game, especially having such good running backs like they do. So you don't get to see much of his pass blocking skills, but I'm sure that he's pretty good at that too, and even if he's not, some NFL coach will use him one day. Isaiah Simmons, the number 8 player on my draft board, the number 1 linebacker in the whole class, number 1 linebacker in the class in the past 2 years, in my opinion. I believe he'll be the first linebacker taken off the board. I don't think that anyone else really is close enough to him to be arguable for that. He's athletically one of the best guys, and he's a stat filler too. I think he'll do really well in the NFL. At number 9, I have Derrick Brown, the number 1 defensive tackle in this whole draft class, number 2 defensive lineman overall. I personally believe that he is the most athletic D lineman in this draft class because, for his size, he moves really well, and he can move offensive linemen too. He's really good. He's the number 1 player on that front 7 for Auburn, and Auburn has a top 5 front 7 in the NCAA. At number 10, I'm going to have to put CeeDee Lamb, who is the second best wide receiver in the whole draft class and could possibly be the number 1 wide receiver taken, but I don't think so. I think it'll be Jerry Jeudy. He's a really good stat filler after that Kansas State game. That whole Oklahoma team took somewhat of a dip, though, and he's Jalen Hurts' number 1 option even now, though. But thank you to everyone who watched the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you want more content, tell me what you want. YBR Sports out.